What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. As the time I am recording this, it is the 27th of December 2022. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, because mine was great. Something I always think about this time of year is what is to happen in the upcoming year, for this case, 2023. And as a coaster enthusiast, my mind easily goes right to roller coasters. Rides like Wildcats Revenge and the Parque Warner Madrid Intamin Blitz, as well as a ride like Airy Force 1. All of these rides rush through my mind, but nowhere near as much as Top Thrill Dragster. And it's weird to see a ride like Top Thrill Dragster, as iconic and incredible as it was, being in shambles, being in multiple pieces, waiting for its new form to rise. I truly believe that there is hope for this ride, and in the future, it is going to come back better than ever. And I wanted to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about its current status, and then dive into what I think is going to be entailed for the future of this ride. So this is Cedar Flags, and today, I'm going to make my final prediction of 2022 for Top Thrill Dragster and its future. So before I get into the actual predictions, I want to talk about this picture right here, which was posted by Reddit user RCBIF 6 days ago, and it is a Top Thrill Dragster December update. Now we have a lot to unravel here. This is a whole aerial shot of Dragster, including Iron Dragon's plot and some of Corkscrew, so we have a lot to dig into. Let's first start with this area right here. So this is the old photo area as opposed to the station. And this is really where we are seeing the most work as of right now. This entire portion of the ride is gone, the track gone, the queue gone. All of this, what once was, is now dirt. So I really think this is where we are going to see the majority of work going on, and we are going to have maybe a little bit of a different post-brake run section right here into the ride, and I think we are going to have a different configuration of the ride's queue. Maybe it will be around here near where Iron Dragon is, and maybe instead of the photo booth, they will have a queue here. Now, getting into this part of the ride right here, as you can see, the entire queue is gone. They have dug a little bit into it, and it looks like where all of the markers once were, including the vending machines, they are all gone. They are completely gone. The entire area where the bleachers are and the lockers are completely blocked off. I think this entire area is going to get an overhaul. I do think that they are going to keep the iconic bleachers just because of, like I said, how iconic they are, but since this is going to be where the queue is not anymore, I think they are going to remove this, maybe relocate it to around over here, but nonetheless, I think we are going to see a lot of changes to this area right here. Now, we have the launch track area. This is where the launch starts, and it continues going to this point. Now, we see that all of the track is gone, but the supports and footers are still there to be seen. Now, what I think is happening here is that they are just going to place the track back on with a separate launch mechanism. I think this is going to stay very similar, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, something I find interesting is both the hydraulics room and the top hat are completely intact. Now, I believe this is going to be the biggest part of the ride that is going to stay. The top hat is just way too iconic, and if they're not going to get rid of the ride entirely, they are definitely going to keep that. I believe that they are going to have something completely different over here. You see some of the supports still there, but some of them missing, and we are right next to Iron Dragon. There is a lot of potential here if they wanted to have an extended layout and a lot more room to open up. Something I thought is maybe in the middle right here they could add some different roller coaster elements like a Norwegian loop or a dive loop, or maybe just a twister section. Since the queue will probably not be in this area anymore, they gotta take advantage of it somehow. So I think this whole area is going to be used for the brand new coaster. Finally, I want to talk about the ride's main midway. I think this is going to look like this in 2023. This whole area is going to be fenced off, and it's probably going to look a little ugly, but that is for future work, of course. It's definitely going to be very bland and generic here, and as you can see, they are designing it for that purpose. But I feel like in 2024, this whole area is going to look so different. It's going to have some state-of-the-art theming here, some brand new buildings, maybe a new restaurant, but overall, this area is going to be completely revamped. This is going to be the whole area for Project 2024. So, what do I think is going to happen in this area? Well, I'm going to talk about that next. So, now we move on to the actual prediction. I have been wanting to make this prediction for a while, and I've been changing a few things around. I have struggled a lot with what this ride is going to be, and I really think that as a project, we really have no clue. And that's very bizarre considering that a lot of Cedar Fair projects are leaked or widely speculated beforehand. But this is one of the few projects that we really have no clue what's going to happen to it. So, this is my prediction. Take this with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I think this is the most possible possibility, and probably what I would do if I were in the owner's seat. So, let's name a few things. The first thing is that I believe this ride is going to be done by Zamperla. Now, Zamperla has been doing a slight side project where they modify old launch coasters and turn them into new rides. Look at the ride opening at Playland in Vancouver, which used to be an Intamin hydraulic launch coaster. They said in a promotional video that they are going to work on some of the fastest roller coasters in the world. And even though I've struggled with this fact in the past, I think that they are going to do a great job in modifying Top Thrill Dragster. This is going to be Zamperla's magnum opus, and it's really going to show the community that this ride is no joke, and that Zamperla can make elite coasters as well. The second thing is that I believe that this ride is going to have an LSM launch. Now, we have been talking about this for a while. This ride used to have a hydraulic launch, which was the source of the great majority of this ride's problems. I believe a much more reliable LSM launch will be in its place. The next prediction is regarding the ride's queue. Now, a lot of people have been talking about the ride's queue and where it's going to be in the future, so I truly believe that they are going to move the queue somewhere outside of the ride's structure. Maybe behind the ride by where the old photo booth is, by Iron Dragon, or they could make it near the midway where the lockers are now, and put it near Corkscrew. Now, I just talked about an LSM launch, and if you don't know, in the past I said I don't think they are just going to change the launch. I feel like that would be a massive disappointment just to die down one of the ride's elements and keep the ride as it was, but much weaker. So, how are we going to compensate? I think this ride is going to have an extended layout. Zamperla has made extended layouts in the past, and so I think they are going to do it with Dragster. It's going to have some incredible airtime moments high above the ground and low to the ground, and it's going to interact with Iron Dragon, which is the coaster right next to it, and I really think that Top Thrill Dragster 2 is going to go out of the boundaries of where the original structure stood. Because like I said, I feel like a lot of people would be disappointed if the ride opened up with the same layout and a weaker launch. If they worked their cards correctly and did some very good airtime moments, I think this could be many people's favorite ride in the park, and maybe even some people's number one. My next prediction is that the ride is going to open up in 2024. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that this ride is going to open up next year with no problems, but I really feel like that's not possible at this point. Now, looking at the construction photos, you see so many changes being made at one point, so I don't think they're going to assemble everything in that amount of time. Reason number one being that they're building a roller coaster in Wild Mouse as we speak, and two, when it came to past roller coasters, at this point in time, we would have track on site, and the missing track on Top Thrill Dragster is nowhere to be seen. In fact, it's in Italy right now, so we don't know what's going on with that. I also think with the 2024 reopening, this whole layout is going to have a brand new feel. Top Thrill Dragster's midway is going to have a different theme, and Top Thrill Dragster as a whole is going to be completely revamped. Maybe even have a new color scheme, but definitely have a different name. I think this is going to be very similar to what Kennywood did with Phantom's Revenge. If you don't know, in the 1990s, they opened up Steel Phantom, which was a hyper aero looper. It consisted of multiple inversions and over-the-shoulder restraints. But in 2000, they decided to close the ride, and D.H. Morgan Manufacturing decided to take the ride for its own and change some of the layout. They kept some of the ride elements similar, but they decided to change the layout as a whole. And I really think that this conversion is going to be very, very similar. Now, for my final prediction, I want to have a wildcard pick, something that many people probably haven't thought about, but something that I really want to address. I think that they are going to go for some sort of record. Now, I don't think they're going to touch the top hat, make it a 500-foot ride, because they would have to do some major changes to the ride's existing structure. So instead, maybe they're going to have something in the extended layout. Maybe they will have the world's tallest inversion, the world's fastest inversion, or something completely different. But I think nonetheless, they are going to make some sort of record breaker to get everyone's attention. It opened up as a record breaker, so why not its reincarnation be a record breaker as well? Anyways, what do you think is going to happen to Dragster? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know if you think my prediction is accurate. Now, there are a few more videos that I will be posting before the year's end, including my top 30 coasters, so in the comments, let me know what you think those predictions will be. So, this is Cedar Flags, and I'll see you all later.